Boy, come on, it's Cocaine Bear. What are you gonna expect besides having to put your brain on pause and or suspend it briefly for the hour and a half you'll get out of this film, again called Cocaine Bear? Come on. It's even in the font right here in the poster. Bear is written in what, bloody red font, scratched up, implying that the bear's going to do what a bear's going to do and just scratch you up, fuck you up if you get too close or near it, or you feed it too much and then you get in trust and then maybe you try to finger its butthole and then it just goes all apex predator on you. What do you expect? It's a bear. It's an animal. Either way, though, it makes you wonder still, could you simply just, I don't know, Google it and be like 1985, Georgia, Cocaine Bear? And I'm sure the news articles will pop up because, again, this is actually based on something that actually happened back in 1985 in the state of Georgia. A bear consumed a massive amount of cocaine. I don't think they ever really went in depth as far as, I don't even know if the bear's alive. I doubt it. Getting that high? No way. Even though those kind of bears are like what, like 2-3 of us all put together, so they can probably digest and molecularize, I guess, the drugs better than we could ever as humans. But yeah, it makes you wonder, is the bear alive? Or did the bear become like a lab specimen at some point too? They just dissected the fuck out of it just to see the effects of cocaine in a bear. And then they, ran wild with it. Cocaine Bear. It was an urban myth and legend from back when. Turns out it was real. So, of course, Elizabeth Banks, of all people, chef's kiss to her, beautiful woman, and funny, talented actress, too. I like her. I like her in almost everything she's done. Had the genius idea of taking this story and turning it into a movie, which, in its essence, at its core, that is Hollywood magic being worked right there. Yeah, I know she's already a known celebrity, a well-established name. Maybe someone was like pitching this, making the rounds, pitching Cocaine Bear, maybe under a different title to try to make it more serious, documentary style, or at least, maybe they were harassing Netflix to see if it could turn into a mini series, a doc series, whatever. But then she saw it, or one of her people saw it, got to her and said, "Hey, this would make a good premise for, a movie, at least a B horror film, whatever." I'm not saying all the genius may be due to her, but at least she had the insight and the foresight to be like, you know what? Let's make this into a movie. I'm assuming maybe I'll do my research, but maybe she contributed to the budget out of her own pocket and or purse. We don't want to gender assume your wallet or purse preference, but maybe she did that. She does get credit for directing and producing, so that says a lot on her behalf, at least the genius, to put this on the big screen. Now I know you're probably wondering why I'm saying, how is this genius in any way, shape, or form? Look at the title. Sound out the title. Cocaine Bear. Two things that don't go together or really shouldn't, but in 1985, there was proof in Georgia that this happened because it's about a bear who consumed a massive amount of cocaine, bricks and bricks of cocaine, got high off it, and went apparently on a killing spree to the point where it outlived its hunters because it was all up on cocaine. In its nose, in its ears, in its pussy, because it turns out the bear's a girl of all things, but then it makes some more sense why the bear would be so potentially aggressive and protective over the cocaine with anyone else getting near it. But, we're not here to discredit females, humans and or mammals or whatever. But also back to Elizabeth Banks, it really is funny because the earliest I remember Elizabeth Banks from, I know she's been around for a while. She's been doing a thing and, working at it too. But the earliest version of Elizabeth Banks that I remember, and I didn't know her name till way after, was she was a secretary for what's his name? James Jonah Jameson, Spider-Man's boss at the Daily Bugle in the Spider-Man Sam Raimi movies. I think she might have been the first one, actually. She was the pretty brunette with the intense eyes and the only person in the whole building that was actually nice to Peter because I guess she needed some dick. Or, some newspaper picture boy dick because he seemed kind of cute, at least. Well, when he came through at presenting himself as Peter Parker, the photographer, he was already jacked up off the spider venom. No, he got bit by the spider, right? So he got venom put in him, and the spider was altered to have all the powers it has, and it just transferred over to him. Okay, so yeah, he came in already as Spider-Man, just, in disguise, of course, Peter Parker. Shh, don't tell nobody. And I remember her from there being so fucking pretty. And then over time, of course, she's done different things, different roles and such. I loved her on God, what's that sitcom? I love it, and I forgot the name. Modern Family. There we go. Modern Family. She was only there for a couple episodes, but she was great, memorable. Better yet said. And just throughout different films she's been in, she's proven she's funny. She can act. She can carry herself. It only helps on top of all of that. She's, I'd say, beautiful, absolutely. But to be able to do this and pull this off, this is Hollywood magic, because at least this is creative. Now, okay, it happened in real life, and of course the movie's going to grossly exaggerate, and I stress grossly exaggerate what most likely happened. And instead of being, I would think it would have been like a thriller, a B movie, cheap, budget's kind of there, but you'll see in the VFX, it's not really there, kind of thriller movie. No, it's actually a pleasant surprise, more than what I expected, and actually it's legit hilarious. For an hour and a half, I'm telling you, no lie, no cap, because I should be wearing one because I didn't shave today, and I'm really showing off my baldness, or my follically challenged dome, better yet said. No cap, I must stress, as far as this movie being legit, my favorite movie so far I've seen in theaters since Top Gun Maverick. And I can't put this over Top Gun Maverick only because I do love Top Gun. I'm okay with Tom Cruise, him being crazy and or just super heavy into Scientology, whatever. Top Gun Maverick, even though it took as long as it did, like what, over 35 years? I think 37 years almost, just shy of, to come out, be released in theaters and still make billions of dollars in theaters during, like, we were just outside skirting around the pandemic at that time, still made all that fucking money and be as incredible as it was. That's legit the best 2 hours I spent in the theater, and I would gladly go again if it was still in theaters. Now you gotta stream it on Paramount Plus and or rent it on Amazon, I think. But hour and a half of pure fun, like pure, raw, uncut, untampered, no fentanyl, laced ass cocaine is this Cocaine Bear affair here. I'm telling you right now, I have to stress, look at me. I look like a charity case. I look like an overgrown St. Jude's kid that lived, got over the cancer, but I couldn't keep my hair, and they kicked me out the program because I stopped being cute and or endearing to any potential, donators. So I'm begging you like it was my dying wish, before I go on with the rest of the review, please go watch Cocaine Bear in theaters. Support this type of movie. I get it. There's a big name attached to it as far as directing and producing, and directing and producing, how much was she really involved, et cetera, et cetera. It was probably like other people wrote it, they gave it back to her, she took the credit, and she might mention them in the fucking credits at the end of the film. I get it. Potentially there is that. But ideally, this had all the potential, as I said in my IG post, this had all the potential in the makings of being something terrible, unnecessary, a fucking bomb, and something for the Razzies right before the Oscars next year, I think potentially in 2024, could rip apart potentially. And or most likely, a la Bear on cocaine would your guts, in this case if you were the wandering victim in the woods. I'm telling you, it's absolutely safe from any sort of Razzie embarrassment and or acknowledgement. So 5 minutes into the movie, count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 minutes into the movie, and you're already getting an intense ass fucking pissed off bear ramming its own head into a tree numerous times, ready to fucking pounce on and attack to, I think the one guy was I don't know what accent he was doing, but one foreign ass European guy and his fiance in the woods. They happened to stumble upon the bear just minding his business, scratching his back on the tree. Cocaine Bear, of course. And they're watching, they're observing, just like white people, even if they're foreign ethnic, white people do. They stand and observe and think nothing's going to happen to them because, oh, guess what? I'm white. I'm okay. I'm in the clear. I'm no threat to them, obviously. I never imposed nothing. I'm not the colonizers from generations before that took over land and then took it for their own. No, I'm just here observing, officer, whatever. But the bear glances back at them when they're trying to get a better shot in the frame of the bear. And the bear lunges at them. And it makes you wonder, why the fuck, if you see a bear the thing with Instagram now or TikTok too is there's a lot of videos going around with this misconception that all of a sudden overnight bears have become friendly and or I guess more attainable to humans. It seems that way. I'm not fucking with the bears though. Black, brown, Puerto Rican, Asian. No bears. I'm not getting near them. I see them within, 50 feet of me. I am moonwalking away from them as fast as I can without making no noise, without stepping over leaves, without tripping up myself or something with my leg. I'll trip, walking backwards, of course, to get away from the bear. I would think that's, clear enough. Maybe you want to do the play dead. You play dead. I'm not playing dead. I'm fucking moving as fast as I can, permitting no sound made to get away from the bear. But why in God's name, when you see the bear already getting hyped up, angry, and banging its own head into the fucking tree numerous times, like it was in a mosh pit, why is that not your clear-cut sign, your green light to get the fuck out of there? They stay there, they're watching, they're looking, they're observing, they're just scratching their heads. I wonder what's wrong with the bear. It's so cute. What's happening to the bear? Who did this to the bear? Did the park ranger show its dick to the bear and it got offended? I don't know, whatever. And as soon as that happens, it just makes a run for them. It starts tearing apart the white girl, the fiance, the European guy, because he has the ideology of, when it comes to bears, this is 1985 logic, of course. If it's black, you fight back. If it's brown, you lay down, which was hilarious. I'm sure it's not a new line, but I've never heard it before, and I don't want to say it made sense. I wouldn't dare say that, but it was hilarious to hear that come out of a white person, a colonizer's mouth. But still, that shit, the bear rips apart the fiance. He's left to wander all alone by himself, by his lonesome. The next image, you cut to the fucking skydiver, who's actually the guilty party here because who contributed to making Cocaine Bear a reality, at least back in 1985, according to the story and such. So apparently there was a whole region of Georgia in the mountains where they would purposely fly over and just keep dropping bags and bags and duffel bags of cocaine. In this case, in the movie, it's like a red duffel bag with like rainbow straps. And they just kept dropping bag after bag to the amount, surprisingly enough, maybe for the movie, shock and awe effect, 70 pounds of cocaine was dumped out in duffel bags. So that's all they fucking dropped into the mountains. And they got their guys on foot who will be assigned to go to the mountains and pick up said cocaine from the mountain region in the forest, Blood Mountain of all places, right? But the guy falls. He's got a skydive, I guess, to like kind of get off the plane and or maybe salvage some of the cocaine himself that he dropped. But he falls out the plane and his chute doesn't open, so he just falls to his death pretty much, the drug dealer. But we're greeted by our very first familiar face, which is actually, before I go into him, pause. The first one we get to see is O'Shea Jackson Jr., aka Ice Cube's son, which kind of looks like him. And I do like him. He's pretty good. And everything I've seen him in so far, he's pretty cool on Twitter. He's a good follow. I would say soft-spoken compared to Ice Cube as far as not as gruffy sounding, but he's got the size and the look of his dad, just without the voice pretty much. But he's a good actor. So I give him another couple of years and he'll probably be a bigger name, but I think he's right there on the premise of like bubbling and or breaking through and like stepping away from Ice Cube's son and being more O'Shea Jackson Jr. Oh, wait, you Google him. Oh, shit, that's Ice Cube's son. I didn't know that. I just liked him from fucking whatever movie or TV show I saw him in. So, shouts to him. But then we get the first big face you'll recognize, and RIP to him, it's Ray Liotta. Thank God, RIP to him. I loved him so much, and we all did too. And like the classics, we've seen him in Goodfellas and everything else he's done too. My only concern is, it seems like, for the most part, a majority of his career, especially towards the end perhaps, why was Ray Liotta always getting cast as someone drug affiliated, drug involved, and or abusing and or drug dealer of some sorts? Was it the intensely blue eyes? Was it like the very pursed, like kind of tight-lipped face he's always had on him that he did so well as far as good guy, bad guy, whatever? Did he just have like that kind of, that's the face that would snort line after line of cocaine? So let's cast Ray Liotta. Let's get him involved or whatever. Did he have that kind of face? I'm not sure, really. I mean, the Chantix commercials at the later end of his life, may have given that idea off. But then are cigarettes considered drugs? Because I wouldn't say they're the gateway drug to anything. It's kind of like, I would think cigarettes are their own kind of universe and or kind of world, because I don't see it. This might be me talking out of my ass, but I never seen or put cigarette smokers together with, drug users and abusers. Because I know weed is the gateway for the most part for some people. It's like baby stepping into the harder stuff or different stuff or whatever else they want to consume and do. Shout out to all users, who wants to do that with their free time. But I know that's not always the case with weed either. It's always like they might as well be stuck in the weed world. They learn all the strands and whatever too. Same with cigarettes. You kind of stick to your Marlboro Lights, 400 gold, whatever you go with, paying like, what is it now, like $16, $18 a pack now to smoke anymore? So you must be making money, or you got a credit card just purposely for cigarette purchases, and or it's a write-off for you somehow. If, tax season coming up, shout out to Uncle Sam, motherfucker. But yeah, he always got casted like as a drug-related guy with a drug problem, or just knee-deep in coke, and or just dealing the fucking shit on the streets. I don't know. That's Ray Liotta, though. Shouts to him. Rest in peace. Will probably come up a little bit later, too, as well. Then you go on with the rest of the story. It's basically, again, it is primarily about the bear who did cocaine in Georgia, got high, killed some people, according to the story and or the movie, glorified for the sake of the big screen. But then you go to these two kids, the 13-year-olds. They look really young and small for 13-year-olds, but the movie says they're 13, so we'll believe them. Okay, there's Kerry Russell, who was a mom in the movie. Shouts to her. She's still looking great. She's the mom of a 13-year-old who's seems like a nice kid, but she's like more mad that her single mom is spending too much time with like the new boyfriend, potentially stepdaddy, doctor, whatever he is, instead of spending time with her, breaking the promises that she made to her child to spend time and do activities, which is always wrong. So I get why the daughter would kind of want to rebel and just cut school, of all things in Georgia, to take her little wimpy ass friend who looks like a girl too, but he's a boy, just a really blonde, curly haired boy, up to the mountains of Georgia, aka Blood Mountain in this case, where the cocaine bear is residing. They don't know that. They know there's bears, but not a bear on cocaine. But imagine being 13 years old. You cut school, you're already in trouble, you're in Georgia, and of all things now, you stumble and trip and fall upon a brick of coke. And it's a really funny scene here, actually. Shout out to both the kids. I don't know their name. I don't know the name of the cast beyond like the familiar faces I know and I'm aware of. No disrespect to them because they're kids. But these two kids were perfectly fucking casted. They're both hilarious, great comedic timing, especially the little blonde curly hair kid. If he keeps at it, he'll be pretty fucking big, and or he'll fall into somebody's group of comedian friends, and he'll be good, set for the rest of his career. So bless them both. They're both hilarious. The girl too. She's really good at what she does. But they stumble upon a brick of coke, sealed, unopened, and the boy, trying to be cool because he has a little crush on her, is like, "Oh yeah, drugs. I do that all the time. After church in the parking lot and shit." His delivery and voice is just perfect for the fucking role. But they dare each other. She dares him to slice it open because he's like a hardcore drug dealing ass fucking degenerate and shit. She dares him to open it up because she happens to have a fucking switchblade. Of course, Georgia and young and white. Why not? Why wouldn't you have a switchblade on your person to open up coke with? He stabs it, takes out a whole fucking batch, and obviously they're young. Thank God they're innocent in 1985. They don't know you're supposed to sniff cocaine. Or some people, I think I see in the movies at least, or they probably just like woof it like it's a pre-workout powder. They take the knife full of cocaine and he just swallows like a whole, like, it's like at least a cup full of cocaine. So immediately he's like gagging and throwing up. She's like, "I wonder how that feels." Peer pressure, in other words, just based off him being a fucking little idiot. She dips the fucking blade in it too. She fucking chugs a whole cups full of cocaine inside her person. They're hallucinating. Well, it starts to build gradually. So maybe it wasn't the best cocaine, or maybe that's the essence of really pure coke, where it's not immediately you're like tripping and shit, or like ready to rip your own skin off because you're so high. But slowly as the day progresses and the sun sets and the dawn appears and shit, that's when the coke really starts, speeding through your body and taking its effect. But then the boy, he's like, let's sell drugs together, since, they obviously got a whole brick that they just like sliced open to take a little bit out and swallow, but they still got like a couple of $1,000s worth, I'm assuming, worth of hard drugs on their hands and in their systems to fucking sell off in the streets of Georgia, of course. We're introduced to Ice Cube's son / O'Shea Jackson Jr.'s character, who I had to think about this too for a second briefly, because it's Georgia, it's 1985, rap isn't the biggest thing in the world as of yet, and or hip hop, but this guy's got on a baseball jersey with no name on it, just a number in the back. I'm sure it's a branding issue, they couldn't do it. A ton of gold, a big ass gold, a big dookie chain. No, not even the rope chain. No, he had like the truck jewels they used to call, like the big thick ass links with the big open hole, looks like you're carrying donuts on your neck. That kind of big ass chain, the wrist bracelet, the big thick fucking pinky ring, a watch, and he's got on fucking Jordan 1s, which around that time, 85, is when the Jordan 1s came out, the very first colorway, and he has the police sketch drawing of any white person who just wants to blame a random black person in 1985 for selling drugs in the neighborhood of a drug dealer. I don't know if it was done on purpose. It's hilarious if it is, but it's so like fucking on the nose. How is this guy not getting pulled over all the time just for being literally black while driving? And then the cop who pulls him over thinks he hit the mother load, or like he's got no more work to do for the rest of that week because black, young, hasn't been to the barber yet because he's got a little bit of a fro going, all this gold, baggy jeans, Jordans on them too, or they used to call them basketball shoes. No, tennis shoes back then, really expensive tennis shoes back then. Ooh, this boy's spending at least a weekend in the fucking slammer. I'm good, I'm rich, bitch, whatever. No more citations for me. Or a traffic cop that might have stumbled upon him too. Oh my God, they're getting promoted to fucking, on the street cop, pretty much. But that was pretty funny to see, and that was crazy to notice. There's also shout-outs to Jesse Tyler Ferguson, a ginger, but a very funny ginger. I like him. Also from Modern Family. So it seems like maybe Elizabeth Banks pulled him into the movie because she loved him doing the show so much and loved him on the show as Mitch, his character, gay, actually, on the show. Funny enough, he was gay on the show along with Eric Stonestreet, who was Cameron. They were the gay couple on the show, Modern Family, but Eric Stonestreet is actually perfectly straight in real life. Meanwhile, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, the redhead, is gay in real life. So it wasn't a stretch for him, but Eric Stonestreet had to really step out of character and literally walk into a closet, capture its essence, and step back out the closet to be like, okay, I'm gay for the screen now, and really do his thing. I thought in real life Eric Stonestreet was gay, and maybe Jesse Tyler Ferguson was like kind of just like being a little girly, but he wasn't. So, today years old when I found that fun fact out back when. But he really let himself go. It was Jesse Tyler Ferguson. I was surprised. Doesn't look like himself at all, and I didn't recognize him at first because he's supposed to be a love interest of the park ranger assigned to Blood Mountain. I see him initially, I'm like, I don't know who that is. Probably just like somebody that called in a favor to like get, in a movie and shit. But then as you go along with the movie, there's like a certain angle, the sun him in a certain way through his like ginger ass long hair. And I said, oh, that's Mitch from fucking Modern Family. That's who that is. Jesse Tyler Ferguson. I was like, son of a bitch, I didn't notice. I thought maybe they put a fat suit on him or something, or like a fake belly. No, he actually gained the weight, it looks like, for the movie, for the role. Which shouts to him, that's dedication. Of all things, for something called Cocaine Bear. Because if I'm an actor, up and coming, or I'm doing my thing as is, and or I got somewhat of a career going, I just got done with a really massive hit of a sitcom under my belt, Modern Family. I think I'm good in line for like something pretty good, recognizable, more to my tasting. But he does Cocaine Bear. I would think title alone, I wouldn't fucking do it. I'd be like too scared to think, oh shit, I'm going to waste my time shooting for like a month, have no money come into me, or hit me on the back end because of this movie, because no one's going to watch because it's so like stupidly titled and shit. But good for him. He committed to the role. I'm sure it was as a part of a favor to her, Elizabeth Banks, tapping him to be in the movie and shit. He's funny. He's good. And also, him and everyone I named so far, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Ray Liotta, rest in peace, and again, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, as well as the kids, both the kids, everybody till this point now, as I'll say it right now, Jump Street, the whole cast, meaning everybody involved, is funny and great. Perfectly casted. I don't know how she did it, but she fucking did it, that Elizabeth Banks lady. She fucking casted a perfectly casted a fucking movie. Oddly enough for Cocaine Bear. But we'll get back to that. So, when he dies, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, again, spoilers, of course, as you can see right here, he dies in a very funny and gruesome way. He's getting chased up the tree by the Cocaine Bear. Well, the little boy, when they encounter the bear, the kids, the bear for some reason takes her hostage. I think because she had the brick on her, so he didn't. The bear, the female bear, didn't hurt her. Just took her back to Cocaine Bear Mountain, the cave at least. To later on we discover to feed the cubs cocaine because she loves it so much, the mama bear, right? So the little girl's safe, but the little blonde boy has to scurry up a fucking tree. He don't know until the redhead climbs up the tree that bears can't climb trees because he was like dabbed in cocaine powder. Jesse Tyler Ferguson, the redhead. The bear is immediately attracted to him instead, climbs up the tree, and the way he dies is basically he gets swatted at the tree, he falls at the tree, bear catches up to him. No, sorry, he didn't fall at the tree. No, he stayed in the tree, the bear catches up, he starts eating away at him on the fucking tree limb. He's like dangling by his feet upside down, and the bear's just straight up eating him like from the ass up. And all you see for like a good 20 seconds is him upside down with just like blood pouring from like his dick on down to his head and shit. And then he falls, the body falls to the ground, plop, and then the leg falls right after, and the leg is covered in cocaine powder so much that the bear climbs down, gets on the leg, and snorts a whole lot of cocaine off the leg. So the way he goes out is very funny, gruesome. I wouldn't say terrible. We've seen worse, but it's pretty gruesome. It's like a steady 15, 20-second shot of him just having blood pouring upside down, which kind of simulates, I guess, the blood pouring, rushing from, your feet to your head if you're ever upside down like that for so long. But you're dying already and getting ripped apart, so it doesn't fucking matter. I don't think it does in that case. At this point now, as I just said, yes, the bear does coke a line of coke off the amputated leg of dying and or dead already Jesse Tyler Ferguson. So confirmed, the bear is a cokehead at this point already. It's a fucking junkie. Because at some point, obviously it's a movie, it's going to be ridiculous. And I think we're glamorizing bears too much, so we're putting ourselves at risk of trusting bears to be like really, really big, fluffy dogs. But it's still a bear. And as much as you want to feed it from your picnic basket or get close to it where you're in the park, in its natural habitat, by the way, reminder, idiot, leave it the fuck alone. But for the sake of the movie, it's hilarious that at some point the bear is not just swimming in leaves because it's so high off of cocaine. At some point, it's dancing. Like you were in Studio 54 in the 70s, just dancing all around, doing a bump of coke in the bathroom, of course, after getting, anally taken by force by some random male. Dancing and shit, just glamorizing the shit. Cocaine, oh my God, it's brand new in my system. I'm a bear, I'm a mammal, I'm not supposed to have this shit, but holy fuck, this feels good. At some point, too, you see the bear, I'm guessing someone in green screen in a bear costume or something, actually swallow a whole brick, unsealed, freshly packed cocaine straight from Colombia, woof it down, and somehow that affects it. But then it's wrapped in plastic. How did the fucking bear even get the taste of the hit off of cocaine when it's like wrapped up like it was? But I digress, we're not here to talk logistics in a movie called Cocaine Bear, of all things. There's a shootout basically at a gazebo because there's a group of teenagers, a bunch of white kids that are no threat to anybody but their own because they're going to like cut and stab themselves, stupidly try to pull out a switchblade as they try to jump O'Shea Jackson Jr. in the bathroom at one point, but he fucks up all three of them. There's one of them that doesn't get beat almost to death. He gets taken hostage. He leads him to a gazebo where he says he found the bag of coke and put it on the roof of it. But there's also an officer in pursuit from, I think, Tennessee. Really funny black detective dude who came all the way from Tennessee down to Georgia to track down the guys who were after coke and or at least the coke itself. He finds it first in the gazebo. There's like a standoff. The detective's on the roof of the gazebo looking down at Ice Cube's son, the other white guy he works with, the other white drug dealer who's also hilarious. In this movie, he's Ray Liotta's son, they're both drug dealers. Drug dealer dad, drug dealer son. But the drug dealer's son is like a real deadbeat and like so emotionally distressed over losing one of his other partners because he got killed in front of him or something like that, where he can't really function. So he's all emo and distressed and despair, but knowing that there's a bear on cocaine, stealing all their bricks of cocaine they got from Colombia, then at some point starts to perk up and realize, oh shit, I'm in deep shit right now with my dad in hot pursuit too. They have a standoff at the gazebo. Ice Cube's son somehow gets his finger shot off because he tried to grab his own gun or the brick of coke. I forget which one exactly. Hilarious touch though. He loses 2 fingers, right? So I got a 5 right here, but instead of losing like 2 to it's a great point made by, I think, the white teenager or his white partner, but he gets both 2 fingers shot off, but not even 2 together. He gets the middle finger and the pinky shot off, I think, so he looks like this at some point, and one of the white guys just screams out, how does that even happen? How do you not lose both fingers at the same time, or at least both fingers together? How did he go for that finger and that finger in just 2 shots? He must have been a fucking sharpshooter, the guy. But there's that part. The bear stumbles upon them because she sniffs cocaine on their person and chases after them. She doesn't have to chase after them, actually. She just passes out at some point because she's so high, falls on top of one of the white guys and pins him down, and wakes up again because she got a sniff of the coke on one of the guys' person. Oh, yeah, because Ice Cube's son was like feeling her up and see if she was dead or not, or passed out from the cocaine. And she sniffed the brick in his back pocket and just came back to life and started wrecking shit all over again. So you got that part. The whole gazebo part is hilarious. So the park ranger from earlier, who was trying to flirt with the redhead, who died, of course, they was getting chased and or harassed by the bear. The redhead, the kids, Kerry Russell, and the park ranger. The park ranger got slashed in the thigh. So she's the only one with a gun, though, however, but she insists on running back to the main office, I guess to call an ambulance or whatever, and leave them all to their luck. But she's got the gun. She can actually do something to the bear if need be. She makes it back to the office. Those the 2 teenagers that didn't make it with the other white kid are back there. They broke in, they stole some stuff. And of course, the bear is in hot pursuit of them because I forget why. Oh yeah, because I guess it's a female bear, so she was petty. And she saw how the park ranger was shaped like a fat fucking bag of potatoes, that bitch. And probably chased after her because, there's only room for one alpha female here, so make way, here I come. I'm going to slash it, throw it up, and all that. So the 2 kids that are there waiting for her, the fat kid is instructed to open the door because someone knocked. Oddly enough, it's the bear. We don't know that yet, though. So she has her gun out, ready to shoot, and says, open the fucking door, and I'm going to blast them as soon as they open the door. They open the door. It's the bear there. But she's such a bad shot, like she missed before when trying to shoot the bear a couple of times. Shoots the kid in the back of the head and blows his whole head off. It's like, it's an R-rated movie, and I guess they said, cocaine bear, let's go all out. She clean blows his head off. Like, what was his name? The comedian that passed, I think, recently. Rest in peace. Gallagher, right. The guy who used to, like, smash the watermelons with the big-ass melon on stage. Yeah, his head gets blown up like that. Like, just blown to bits and pieces and chunks. Like someone punched through a pumpkin, basically. So then he's dead, and the other kid tries to make it to the back closet room. The bear follows him into there. He's dead, of course. Then there's a also hilarious ambulance chase scene, which the EMTs finally make it to the office. They go in, they check in. I forget his name, but the one comedian that's always on TikTok, I forget his name, shit, but shout out to him. He knows who he is. He's in there. He's in hot pursuit. They struggle trying to get the door open because the fat kid, his dead body fell right behind the door, so it was really hard to open. They finally get it open. They go over to the park ranger. She's dying. She had a throat slash. She can't say nothing. Finally, she's able to say something to one of the EMTs. Bear. as she's dying. They know to get the fuck out, but already the bear's in hot pursuit. Has one pinned under a door. They run out, they make it to the ambulance with the park ranger strapped in the back, so kudos to them. They're really good EMTs. They haul ass, but the bear is so hopped up and drugged beyond belief on cocaine that it's a mad chase on foot for the bear, which I forgot. Bears, what did they say? Like 40, 50 miles an hour? They can really just haul ass too if they want to. So an ambulance can go pretty fast, but I don't know if it's like capped off at a certain speed. The bear catches up, of course, it's Cocaine Bear. The bear catches up, leaps into the back of the fucking thing, starts tearing the fucking park ranger apart, shoves a fucking skinny EMT guy to the front. He loses his hand in some way, shape, or form. It's a weird way how his hand got, like, I don't know, chopped off or something. Female EMT driving the van gets so panicked and confused that she just drives straight into a tree. She gets shot out the front windshield. She's dead, of course. Fucking the body count on this Cocaine Bear is hilarious and just way too much to even believe at this point anymore. But okay. They make it all the way back to the cave because eventually Kerry Russell does find her daughter in the cave because she left behind little traces and bits of her to like follow in the path of where the Cocaine Bear dragged her to the cave into. They meet up again. We get the image I never thought I'd ever have to see in my life besides a Cocaine Bear is Cocaine Bear cubs dancing, slashing away at the coke and just like throwing it up in the air like LeBron does his thing with like the dust he throws up, the chalk, every pregame tradition he does. They're doing the same thing. I guess maybe that was a little homage to him. At this point now, Ray Liotta has his two lackey drug dealers, Ice Cube's son and the other white guy, follow him in hot pursuit of the bear because they see now, after the detective died on the gazebo and shit, that he literally tossed the bear the duffel bag so that she could take it because she wanted to kill them otherwise. So now they're chasing after it. They catch up to the cave. I don't know how they did. They found the cave where the bear is most likely. They follow them in. Everybody's reunited. The mom, Kerry Russell, the blonde kid, and the daughter. They're trying to make their way out the mountain after seeing the cubs and shit. So they're on the side of the waterfall. Ray Liotta's in hot pursuit with a big-ass sniper rifle ready to kill anybody on sight, pretty much. He's got him pinned to a mountainside. The other guys are behind him saying, no, don't do it. It's a mom and kids. How could you? Whatever, too. He glances up. There's one more bag, untouched duffel bag, packed with cocaine in it. He's instructing them to go grab it, pull it back down for him. They won't listen. They start, growing balls and or a spine, or basically they saw a mom in despair with children. They weren't going to shoot or do nothing to her or them. So after the two guys turn their back on Ray Liotta, he sees the bag. He goes for it anyways, on his lonesome, whatever, because everybody else is like kind of turned their back to him. Cocaine Bear comes out of nowhere. Mama Bear, of course, hearing the cries and pleads in despair of her bear cubs begging for more cocaine, like she does too at some point, for most of the movie actually. Comes down there. Ray Liotta does apparently shoot the bear dead finally, so Cocaine Bear is laid out the fucking rest, RIP'd and shit. Shot the fucking bear point blank. Kicked the bear off the mountain, but she fell onto a lower ledge. And presumably, again, Cocaine Bear is done as far as the movie's concerned at that point. So Ray Liotta's going to gather the coke up. He's going to be able to gather all the other bags of coke and give it all back to the Colombians and or sell it off, at least pay off the Colombians so he don't have to die. But then the cubs are ripping away at like a brick of coke. Enough of the powdery substance falls down to where Mama Cocaine Bear is, gets lodged in her fucking nostrils. She wakes right the fuck up, like smelling, smelling salts. Comes back to life, climbs back up the mountain, grabs Ray Liotta as he's trying to grab the bag, slices his guts open, drags him down, makes her fucking cubs play with his fucking intestines like jump rope and shit, start eating a little bit away at him, and then just toss him aside because she did him like he tried to do her, but she actually got the job done pretty much. So now he's dead, in the film at least, R.I.P., and of course in real life, R.I.P. Ray Liotta. And yeah, that's pretty much it, because then everybody survives, except Ray Liotta, of course. The mom's a nurse, so when O'Shea Jackson Jr. falls, he hurts himself or he got shot and grazed by a bullet. She's able to fix him, even though he's like only down to 8 fingers now, because of course he lost 2 of them. Everybody's happy. The white drug dealer got a new dog because he was so lonely and had nobody beside him besides O'Shea Jackson Jr. to save his ass the most of the time. The mom and the kids are fucking free and clear. They're riding off on the bike on the side of a mountain, bloodied up and cut up and everything too. They run into the fucking bodies of the EMTs that got killed and the park ranger too. They got just like, I forgot, the park ranger died in a funny way. So she was still on the stretcher, strapped down. The bear basically just pulled her out the stretcher. No, pulled the stretcher out the fucking ambulance and let it fucking stumble and fumble all upon the road. But meanwhile, she fell face first on the pavement and just started grinding. So that was like a new death on screen I'd never seen before. Another white person dead, but what else? Unfortunately, of course, there was enough white in this movie. So believe me, not one more going down like that. It's okay. Whatever. There's billions of them. And yeah, that's basically the movie. Nice touch also is that, well, according to the story, obviously, no one ever found the other many bags of cocaine that was dropped from the plane up on Blood Mountain, Georgia. So who knows? Or that could be someone saying they found it, but then they just tell anybody making a movie, oh, I never found nothing. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Meanwhile, they got like a fistful of gold rings on them too, based off of coke money. Even though this is something that happened IRL, in real life. Google it. 1985, Georgia. Cocaine Bear. It actually happened. They actually got, clips of news segments spliced into the movie. They give it that real effect of like, oh shit, I'm back in 1985 where cocaine was the drug of choice for black bears. On Blood Mountain, at least. That's how Georgia Bears get down. Whatever. But again, I gotta stress. If you get a chance in theaters, or as soon as it hits streaming or whatever, go see this movie. Absolutely. I beg of you. If I had a dying wish right now, like Ray J, if I had one wish, I'd get on my knees, I'd, rip my shirt off. No, I'm not gonna do that here. I'll save you the fucking, the nightmare. I beg you in the fucking dripping wet rain, go watch Cocaine Bear. It's actually a very fun watch. It's funny from start to finish. There are a couple of jump scares that legit get you, or they got me. And I'm not into horror movies like that, but they got me at some point too. It's alright, it happens. Legit fun, perfectly casted, everybody's fucking fun. I'm guaranteeing you, I'm telling you right now, please go watch Cocaine Bear. Why do you need me screaming at you? I don't have the voice to be screaming at nobody. Come on. Unless someone's really dying or I'm getting my leg hacked off with a chainsaw. Please! But in this case, I'll use that please for emphasis. Please watch Cocaine Bear. It's really fun, really good. Chef's kiss, of course, again to Elizabeth Banks for directing and producing the film. A beautiful woman like her, what does she gotta fucking be doing anything beyond being pretty on film for? Directing and producing the shit. Holy shit, mind blown. If I gotta be honest, my only criticism, two actually. First one will be the CGI. Considering it might have been most likely on a budget of some sorts, the visual effects ain't perfect, especially when like the bodies fall from trees, or at some points too, it's kind of like, that could have been worked on a little longer, fool us a little better, but that's the only gripe I have with it. Oh, and besides the fact that it finishes at an hour and 30 minutes, like, it's the perfect length, don't get me wrong there, pause. But I'm saying, once it's over, it's done, and it's like, shit, I got no more of the movie to watch. It's a good thing, I mean. Like, once it's over, you're like upset it's over. So obviously I want to go see it again. I'll probably go see it next week in theaters. I'm not sure what day, but we'll see. If not, I'll wait patiently for streaming, and I'll just keep watching on repeat, because I'm telling you, it's a pleasant surprise. Title alone, premise alone, believe me, this could have been a horrible fucking waste of a time movie for you and for me. But I'm telling you, matter of fact, out of the 2 stars, I'd have to give it a 1.5. Honestly, it's really fucking good. You do have to kind of pause your brain a little bit, because it can be a little stupid and or just obviously exaggerated for the sake of a movie to make some money and stand a chance against other movies in the theater too. It's a legit fun time. I can guarantee it wholeheartedly. I won't back down from that. I'll die on that hill. Cocaine Bear, best movie I've seen in the theaters since Top Gun Maverick, and one of the most fun times I've had in the theater, where I've laughed and chuckled from start to finish, probably ever, with a comedy like that.
Yo, it's over. All right, it's over. It's over. Move the mic. Move the mic.
Thank you.
All right.